Hey friends, Juno here. Welcome to today's Pick a Card Tarot reading. So once a week I like to go super in depth and give you a bit of a check-in on what's happening in your week, what to expect, what are the energies looking like, and I'll go super in depth into the reading. So that's what's happening today. This is our weekly check-in. We're going to do a reading kind of based around what's happening, and then we'll go super in depth into the cards. And I've got multiple different tarot decks. I've got a few oracle cards and some runes. So we'll dive it all together and really kind of get a good reading of what the energies are this week. And yeah, so each reading's going to be pretty long, and we'll really kind of dive in and figure out what's happening. So anyway, I'm about to play for you a short nature meditation. This will just be a quick way for you to clear your mind and get into the mood. And then after that, I will show you the piles close up, and then you can select which pile you'd like for your reading. Down below in the description section of this video, there is a link to the timestamp where your reading is. So just click on that link and it'll bring you to the point in the video where your reading is. So without further ado, here's the nature meditation, and then I will show you the cards to choose your pile. Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, and pile number 4. Pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4. Hey there, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. So this is the reading if you chose this first pile. So we're going to get right into your reading here. Like I said, I've got multiple tarot cards and some oracle cards. We'll do the tarot first, but I like to start out these readings with the rune stone because the runes kind of give a nice general theme about kind of what the whole reading is going to be like, where we are, what's happening. So for you this week, your rune is the Dagaz rune, which is great. You can kind of see that there. I gotta get my camera angles better for showing from above. Sometimes I miss the card completely. Anyway, this rune is great. It's a classic, very classic rune. Kind of one of my personal favorites. It means the sunlight, sunshine. It can be indicating of sort of like the midsummer sun, the noonday sun in the sky, and you know, time of year tends to be more summertime, which is applicable. It's not the longest day of the year anymore. We've already passed that hump, but it is still very much summer, at least in the northern hemisphere. You may be in the southern hemisphere watching this and it's the dead of winter, so, you know, I don't know. But for us, it's summer up here. And yeah, so it tends to be, it's very similar to the sun card in general. It's like this daylight, a new day dawning, you know, the dawning of a new day. So that's a really nice energy to enter into the week with. It's a very bright, very hopeful energy. I've had some rune readers kind of associate it with an aha moment, like a light bulb going off. So you could potentially associate it with that as well. I tend not to, because to me that there's some other runes that indicate that a little bit more to me, but regardless of that, it's the shining of the sun. It's also got this sort of hourglass shape, which gives it some extra dimensions of time and space. To me, it looks like a light cone, which is a diagram in physics that kind of talks about how a point in space, which is this middle here, you know, every action that happens from that point forward is located in the future part of the light cone. So it's every possible future that this point in space could go through. And then in the back it's all points in space that could have led up to this, right? And only within the light cone is this movement possible. Anything outside of the light cone is unreachable by this point in space. So there you go. I don't know. I kind of give it that light cone dimension as well. So if you're, thinking about the possibilities of what could happen and what couldn't, it's kind of like that whole parallel universes and all of that stuff, Okay, so let's dive into this reading here even more. First up, we have 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. I'll do kind of all 3 of them together, and then we'll read them all together. First one you have is the Son of Swords, which is the Page of Swords in most decks. Oh no, it's the Knight of Swords in most decks. It's the Knight. We've got the Mother of Swords. Oh, interesting. Double swords energy right off the bat. So a lot going on in your mind this week. This is honing in and focusing in on what's happening in your mental body. And then we have the Hierophant, which 3 birds as well. So it's some heavy bird symbolism today as well. The Hierophant is, it's all about I kind of always relate it to society's expectations of us. It's like the things that, the tried and true, the tradition, but then it can also be sort of like what the world tells us we're supposed to be doing versus what we actually want to be doing. So I think that you've got some mental body stuff going on, like I was saying here. And, it's really kind of coming in here with this owl. So, the Knights in Tarot are all about the action that's happening in the reading. That's how I interpret them. They're also about the action that's happening in the suit itself. So it's sort of like, where is the movement going on in what's happening? Like, where are you moving, in what direction? And with it being in the mind here, the mental body, it's really kind of talking about your thoughts, you moving your thoughts, figuring out your thoughts. And maybe, you've been a little bit conflicted on, maybe you're feeling some pressure to conform to some sort of ideal within yourself. And you might be having a transformation of that within your mind this week. Because to me, the Hierophant, like I was saying, it represents this like traditions and honestly, a lot of times it's sort of like the conditioning we have as we're growing up. What we learn as children is what we're supposed to be doing, quote unquote, what life is supposed to mean, how we're supposed to act. And so into adulthood especially, we tend to take on this idea of like, oh, a responsible adult does X, Y, and Z, so I have to make sure that X, Y, and Z is happening. When in reality, like, maybe there are some burdens in that aren't necessarily applicable to your life anymore, that in reality, actually an adult is totally free to take their own choices and make their own actions and do whatever they need to do for themselves, so you actually have the ability to walk away from some of these quote unquote supposed to's, some of these things you feel you're supposed to be doing, when in reality, like I said, you could walk away from those types of things. So, I think you're being encouraged this week to sort of look at where in your life you are, where in your life are you acting just out of a, the idea that it's what you have to be doing versus, what are you doing that you really want to be doing? And can you merge those two things together? Can you let go of some of these things that actually aren't as important as maybe you think they are? So it's kind of like really encouraging you to start thinking in that direction. With the Mother of Swords, that's the Queen of Swords in most decks. To me, she sort of represents this, in a lot of decks. It depends on the deck, obviously, but I've seen her kind of depicted with like these cuffs around her arms that to me look very, very similar to a mala, which is like this Tibetan prayer beads, or is in Hindu and Buddhist traditions. I actually am wearing a handmade one that I made myself here. It's a tool for meditation. So, you know, to me, whenever she comes up, it's sort of encouraging you to go within, to meditate if you can, to calm your mind, to come back into a sense of inner peace and inner calm within yourself if you can, and that you'll find more answers that way. So you're being encouraged to go within this week and really take a look at what's happening in your life, what's happening for you, and you know, sort of see what's going on, you know, and like really look into, you know, the actions that you're making, and even the thoughts that you're having. You know, it's like, are you feeling stuck? If you're feeling stuck, I don't necessarily know, we got to read more cards, but you know, whatever it is that you're feeling here, you know, go within, take a look within. So next up we have from the 1JJ Swiss deck, 3 more cards. Let's take a look at what these are. So the first one is the 4 of Cups. All right. We've got the Lovers card. Interesting. And we've got the 8 of Cups. Oh, wow. Okay, okay. Neat. All right, so pile number 1, this is interesting. So, you know, you're really being encouraged to follow your heart in whatever's happening, you know, and it might end up leading to walking away from some things. You know, as you do this processing within yourself, right, of looking at like, all right, what's present in my life that I feel I'm doing because I have to, and what are the things I really want? You know, how can I follow my own passions and drive? The universe is trying to give you a gift. So the 4 of Cups comes in whenever, you know, we are in this period and position where we kind of like, in many other decks, it's depicted as a person who's sitting at the base of a tree and staring at these 3 cups and like kind of really discontent, because these 3 cups, he feels like he has to maintain them. He feels like he has to use these cups in order to move through life. Like these are his only options, right? And so he's like, okay, well, these are my options. This is what I've got. I've got cup 1, cup 2, and cup 3. And all of them kind of suck and I don't really like it, but this is what I have to do. So I'm just going to be like pouting and blah. But in reality, there's actually a 4th cup. And the universe is like coming out and trying to hand it to him, right? It's like, no, actually, look, you're focused so much on these 3 cups, but in reality, there's a 4th option that you had no idea was even possible. And it's here to give you what you actually want, what's in your heart, what you're dreaming of. So these 3 cups that you think you have to take, you don't actually have to take those cups. And so, you know, especially with this Lovers card, you're being encouraged to follow your heart in this situation. It might mean that love is coming in. I'm not entirely sure. I tend to not read the cards in that way because I like to give people these like very inward centered readings. That's the readings I prefer the most for myself. And so when I interpret the cards, that tends to be how I interpret them. So to have the Lovers card in here in between these 2 cards is kind of telling me that you're being encouraged to follow your heart as you make these decisions, to be very heart-centered in your actions. So when I say heart-centered, going back to this Queen of Cups here, you know, you're being encouraged to go within, to really ask your heart what it wants. So our mental bodies and our emotional bodies are sometimes separated. They don't have to be separated, right? Like it's actually much better for them to come back together, to come back into a center and an understanding within ourselves of a united emotional mental body. But a lot of times, based on our society, and just sort of like the conditioning of humanity up until this point, I feel like we're kind of going through this. One second. With this sort of heart-centered living, it's all about letting go of there's a cat. Anyway, letting go of this like notion that, you know, we just have to think up all of our decisions and just live in our minds, right? That's a very Western centric mode of being, that kind of came from the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment gave us so many wonderful things, but it kind of, the idea that like the world is just automatons, you know, that kind of like Isaac Newton sort of way of thinking, it brought us so far, but it also has some dangerous limitations that we're now finding out and unlearning as we move through the world even further. Because that idea of that we're just machines, right? That our bodies are just robots and our minds are a product of that consciousness. And so all that we are is just our mind, basically, right? It's just it's a phantasmic, what do you call it? Like fluke, and that's all that we are, is this mind that's in this robot that's moving through a set of robotic conditions. Like, obviously that's not the case, because we feel differently, right? And especially if you're watching this reading, I don't think that that's probably something that you believe in, but there's some very important things that science has given us, and I'm not anti-science at all. In fact, I think the scientific method has been incredibly foundational in moving us to where we are. But it really limits the heart, because in reality, like, our heart is more connected to our passions, right? In our heart, and being in heart-centered living, it's like it's more in tune with our higher self. It's more in tune with what we really want for ourselves, versus the mind can get really lost with the ego. It can get really lost in how it's been conditioned, how it's been trained in order to see, and that's heavily influenced by our culture and our cultural understandings, when in reality, like, our hearts maybe want something much different. And so to come back into your heart center is really, like, can be really helpful. I have a grounding meditation on my channel. Feel free to use that. I've used grounding meditations like that before, because they, mine in particular, is about diving into the nature's, the mother, what do I say? Diving into the ground, like imagining your consciousness going down deep into the ground and connecting with the loving heart of Mother Earth, and bringing that love up into your body through your chakra system into your heart itself. And by doing that, you're actually connecting with the love of Mother Earth, and you are connecting yourself to your own love. You're connecting yourself to your own heart center, and by giving yourself that connection, you are diving in and tuning into what you want for yourself. And by doing that this week, by really saying, okay, I understand I have these 3 cups here that aren't exactly working for me. I know that the universe is trying to give me this 4th cup. I might not know what that is. So in order to find out, I'm going to do some meditation. I'm going to go within. I'm really going to ask myself. And there's this actually shamanic technique, and I can't remember the name of the person who talks about this. There's a lecture from him on YouTube that a Reiki teacher and friend of mine who I go for Reiki told me to look into this person, and I wish I could give you their name. But, he had this lecture that was talking about, one shamanic technique that exists is putting your hand on your heart to connect into your heart center and to slow your breathing down. So we'll do it together. So you just breathe in, breathe out, and breathe in, breathe out. And then you ask your heart, okay, heart, I have these 2 options. I can either take on this new job, or I can try to figure something else out. What's better for you, heart? What do you want? And my heart is saying that it's okay if I need to take on a new job to get some extra income, because that's a part of where I'm at, but it doesn't mean that's who I am. Something like that. That's obviously just an example for my own life. But, like, there you go, right? Like, that's a part of it. So you just, you're tuning into your heart, and you're really asking, like, okay, well, what's the right option here? And, like, by slowing down and really asking yourself that way and really reflecting, you kind of give yourself more of an opportunity to answer your own questions in the right way, and your heart's not going to lead you wrong. So next up, we have 3 cards from the Rider Waite Smith deck, classic deck. We've got the 3 of Pentacles. We've got the Hierophant again. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, whenever a card comes up twice, that means that it is the most important card in the reading. At least that's how I interpret it. It is really what needs to be dialed in and called home in the reading. And then you have the Fool. Okay, so that kind of connects back into this walking away. Like I said, with the Eight of Cups, you're really being asked to walk away from something. And I honestly think it's with this societal conditioning here. I mean, the Hierophant twice, it doesn't always mean societal conditioning. It can mean looking for a teacher. So maybe you need to learn some new things. It can mean like finding a master, you know, to gain insight and wisdom into something. So maybe there's an area in your life that you need to learn more about. With the mental body being so heavily prominent with these 2 swords here, you know, that could really be a part of it as well. If you're being encouraged to find help in order to move on to something, you know, maybe the only way to unlock that 4th cup is to learn a new skill that you don't necessarily have access to at the moment. And so that can be, you know, it's okay to not know everything. And I know that sounds a little silly to say, but it's true. Like, it's okay if you don't have all the answers right now. It's okay if you are like you don't have all the information right now. Sometimes it's much easier to just go out and ask for help and to find information that way than it is to slowly filter in that information over a period of time. Like, it's going to be much easier and much simpler for you to just go out and find the person who has it. And that could be as simple as finding a Skillshare class online. You know what I mean? They're like $15 and incredible. Or it could mean like taking a formal class somewhere potentially. Or it could mean, you know, asking your uncle who knows how to do woodworking, how would you go about this? You know, it's very simple. Just sort of like, you don't have to go it alone all the time. You know, you can go out and you can ask for help for something if you need it. So with the Hierophant there as well, it's potentially talking about that. With this 8 of Cups here, it is something that you're walking away from. There is something present in your life at the moment that you are ready to leave behind and move into a new phase of being. And that new phase of being is opening up this new day here with the Fool card. The Fool is all about new beginnings, a new start. And when you do this, when you make this new start, when you walk away from something, and that's something you're walking away from, could be as simple with all of these mental cards here. It could be as simple as walking away from a mode of being, you know? It could be as simple as walking away from the idea, like I was saying, that you have to go it alone all the time, that you are the only one capable of figuring out what you need for your life and you can't ask for help. You know, it could be as simple as this notion that you can't ask for help. You can always ask for help, always, and there will be help available to you. No matter who you are or where you are, there is somebody who is willing to help you. And the universe will always bring you into contact with that person that you need to be in contact with. It's always there as a possibility for you. And then this final card here, you know, it really highlights that idea of coming together with other people, because the 3 of Pentacles is all about connecting in with 3 people in order to build something new. You know, it's like 3 people coming together to make something new. It can also talk about building a strong foundation, rebuilding foundations after something has fallen apart or something isn't working. So you're going to rebuild your foundations to build yourself up from that point. And when you build strong foundations, right, the strong foundation that you build, you can always build on top of, and it will never crumble because it's a super strong foundation. When you build foundations off of, you know, like a house of cards, they can come falling down because they aren't strong foundations. So you're really being encouraged to really tune in and build these strong foundations within your life here. Let's keep reading cards. Yeah, we'll keep moving on. For the Fairytale Lenormand, we've got the Clover here. So the Clover to me talks about good luck. It can also talk about rest, right? And to me, it's really kind of honing in on that resting, because we were talking about meditating earlier. So I really think that going within can really help you. Maybe even doing some dream work. Like, I don't know if you can lucid dream, or if you ever you have visions and dreams, or you're connected with your dreams, but your dreams might be trying to talk to you right now, connecting you into your intuition and your heart's center. So as you sleep, I would encourage you to start a dream journal. They can be really helpful in sort of connecting you into what's happening in your life, what's going on, and it'll really kind of help you tune into your subconscious will give you symbols in dreams. They'll give you symbolism. They'll give you understandings of things based on what's happening in your life through your dreams and dream work. And so the more that you start recording those, the more that you can dive in and be like, oh, I had a dream about being in a big vast ocean, and that means that I've got some feelings I need to think through, or whatever. It can be anything, and everybody's own symbolism is a little bit different, but there are some tools online to help you tune into what some symbols mean too. That can help as well. But yeah, I really feel that. I feel that for you, that like you're in this period where you're changing your thought process. You're moving through new thinking patterns. You're moving into a new way of seeing, and you may have been stuck in some modes of thinking that may have been conditional, may have been conditioned within you from society. They may be based on societal expectations, and so you're being expected to leave those expectations behind and follow your heart moving forward. This week you're really going to be tuning back into your heart space, tuning into your heart center. Check out that grounding meditation on my channel if you want. It can be pretty helpful, but really like diving into the heart center in general, and walking away from something. There's something present in your life, and I'm not entirely sure what it is, but there's something that you're going to be moving away from. And it could be very physical. You could actually be looking into moving, places, but I feel it's probably more of a mode of being. The Eight of Cups kind of comes in when there are these 8 cups that are present, and there's something that helped you for a time. They helped you through something for a time. So connecting back into that Hierophant being a societal conditioning message, these conditionings and these modes of being were there for your survival, right? They helped you make it through the day, through the next day. And so, you were kind of living with that for a long time. But in reality, now these cups aren't working for you anymore. They don't fit who you are anymore. They don't fit your mode. They don't fit your being. And so you're ready to walk away from those and move towards something new, a bright new future, a new way of being, a new mode of thinking. And it's going to come with this, like, connecting with resources, connecting with people that can help you with that. Remember, you can always ask for help. There is help out there available to you, and there are people who are going to connect in to whatever this new mode of being is for you. And it might mean, going out and asking for help on how to transform how you are, how you're being, It could be as simple as, if you're stuck in certain thought patterns and you really need to get out of them, you feel that you want to get out of them, but you don't know how, it could mean going to a counselor or something like that. Or, looking into tarot, maybe reading your own tarot, learning how to do that from somebody like that, But if it is counseling, like, I just want to remind you that, like, it's always great to see a counselor. I've seen them many times in my life. It's really helpful. They just provide really helpful tools on how to move through things, on how to think about things differently. They're not anything to be afraid of. Finally, I've got 2 cards from the Shamanic Healing Oracle that I'm going to read directly from the book, so you get some further messages, and we'll get a little bit of further insight into this reading too. First up, we have the masculine energy. All right, and with this sun here, so I do think, when it's talking about modes of being, it could be that you're really stuck in the masculine right now, which is just to go, make things happen, go out and do things. If you want something in your life, you have to go and push it to happen. You got to go out there, make something happen, blah, blah, blah. That's a very masculine mode of being, when in reality, you need to be balanced between that and the feminine, which is more receptive, allowing things to come to you, being open to something happening, and just letting it flow into your life. So let me read this card here. The sun, powerful, a life force without which nothing on this earth could survive. The masculine energy is one of action, doing, creating, forcing. In nature, it is balanced out with the feminine energy. When we find ourselves embodying this energy, we get things done. We are thinking logical beings. If we reside here too staunchly with that thinking logical being, remember I was talking about that with the enlightenment and all of that stuff? That's crazy. If we reside here too staunchly, we don't have any room for the opposite energy to come in. Being able to effortlessly flow from one to another, masculine to feminine, is the pinnacle of being in the flow energetically. Sometimes in love relationships, the energy turns topsy-turvy, and we end up residing in an energy that does not meet our highest needs. This is hard to break out of due to fear. The fear of, if I don't do it, it won't get done. Realize that two people make up a relationship, in an evolved one. The relationship itself develops in its own energetic balance, a perfect combination of yin and yang, masculine and feminine. If there is a void in one area, an imbalance will develop, and as the nature of things, unconsciously we will try to balance it out. Being aware is a perfect first step. Alternatively, this card signifies a very important man in your life. Yeah, no, I feel like that's kind of what it was talking about, you know? It's like this idea that you know, by pushing too hard, you know, you actually kind of don't see all of your options, you know? You don't see that there are things that are trying to come into your life as well as you trying to make things happen. So it's being open in that energetic flow, you know, being open to the balance of things. Next up we have from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, we've got the feminine energy. Oh, no way. Oh, you've got both of them. Yeah, so there you go. You know, you're being encouraged to balance between these two forces. There's nothing wrong with being in the masculine energy. There's nothing wrong about going out and making things happen. We have to. Like the book was saying, it's about being in a perfect balance of those two things. But being open to your receptivity as well is very important. So let's read that. Wow, that's cool. I've never had them both come out like that together. That's really awesome. Darkness, the moon, the tides, the quiet gestation before the chaos, the void. These are all aspects of feminine energy, passive, waiting, gestating, and nurturing. It is the opposite of the prior card, which was the masculine energy. So very different, yet the perfect companion. Perhaps you have yet to find your feminine side. The life you are leading right now has given you opportunities to embrace this part of you. But between the two opposing energies, feminine energy is the harder one to embrace. It requires trust and lack of fear. Trust that it is all as it should be, and the absence of fear of things not getting done. Perhaps in the past, you had been hurt when you were embracing your feminine energy, physically or mentally. This was the free will of the person who hurt you. It was not caused by being who you were. Do not let the actions of another dictate who you need to be. Examine your feminine side. Become friends with her again. Alternatively, this card is an important woman in the seeker's life. Yeah, no, I feel like this is just coming back into saying, you know, really coming back into a balance between yourself, following your heart center, uniting the mental and the emotional bodies, really diving into who you are and what you need, and being open to change, you know, being open to change what's going on in your life, being open to change the things that aren't working, you know, being open to let those things go and move on. Sometimes it's hard to move on from the things that aren't working in our life because it's just hard to move on from the things that we're familiar with. That happens a lot in life. And so you're really kind of being encouraged, though, to take the chance, you know, be brave, and remember that luck is on your side with this clover coming in, and that you can take breaks as you work through new things. You can take your own pace. You can move at your own pace if you're moving into a new way of being. Like, it's never an overnight thing. It's never a simple thing. You know, I mean, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's all about going back into being simple. But sometimes if you've lived in a mode of being that's overly complicated, it can be really challenging to just simplify everything. But you're being encouraged to do that here. And you're being really encouraged to balance these forces within you. We all have masculine and feminine energies present within us, and it's important to balance those two energies out and to come into harmony within yourself. So anyway, pile number 1, that was my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Please feel free to let me know in the comments what you think of it either way. I love hearing from all of you. And if you ever want a more detailed reading with me, I can get super in-depth about you and your life and your situation. Feel free to check out my website, www.junodrome.com. I've got all of my information available on there, and I would love to give you a reading. And then finally, I'm super excited that I've launched a Patreon page. It's a way for you to help me out, support me some more, and then also get some really incredible bonus content you can't get anywhere else. Check that out at www.patreon.com/junodrome. Big thanks to all my new subscribers and to everyone who's been tuning in for as long as you have. I'm so thankful to have you with me. I'm really excited to continue this channel. As I'm growing, I'm excited to announce it's a bit of a ways away, but it'll come before we know it. I'm really excited. When I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a private reading with me. So it'll be a free private reading with me. My $60, well, I'll let you choose. You can either have the one-on-one or the video recording, either one, whichever you prefer. And I'll even allow, I don't have it on the website, but I'll even allow a pre-recorded 1 hour reading if you'd prefer that kind of format. It's all up to you. So I just want to offer it as a thanks for all of my subscribers and everybody who's tuning in. So pay attention as that comes up. I'm at 351 as I record this. We'll see where that goes moving forward. But yeah, share with your friends, encourage other people to join if you really want a reading with me. So yeah. But like I said, I have my readings always available on my website. So check those out if you'd like to pay for one. That really does help me out because I am working very hard at making this my full-time job. At the moment, as you heard earlier in my heart space, my own personal heart space questioning, I'm probably going to end up taking on some extra work just because I need it. But eventually, this will become my full-time job. So I'm excited for that. If you ever have any suggestions on content you'd like to see with me, please feel free to check it out in the comments. Let me know. Anyway, pile number 1, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll catch you later. Hey there, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. This is for everyone who chose the pile with this nice looking stone here. It's my rune stone. So these readings, like I was saying in the introduction, are pretty long and in-depth. And they're kind of a weekly check-in, so it's sort of looking into the energies of what's going on this week, kind of tuning into you and your life and your situation, and figuring out what that is, how we can help you move forward, and give you some insight into your life. So first up, we have, for the runes, we've got the Algiers rune, which is, it's a power symbol, honestly. They used it, the Old Norse used this as a protection symbol. So they drew it on things for protection. So it definitely has that sort of like protective amulet charm meaning to it. It can mean sort of like, I tend to use it as like following your North Star, like the pointing hand arrow pointing you forward kind of can be like that, you know, like the shining conscious within you, your own sort of inner knowing and moving within that. And then it can also mean peace, because if you were to hold it upside down like this and draw a circle around it, it is literally the peace sign. They used this rune in the peace sign when they were making it in the 60s. Fun fact. So yeah, so anyway, that's your rune. Let's kind of see what it means, but I'm getting this sort of like guiding you forward and protective elements to it as we jump into this reading. I've got a bunch of tarot decks and some oracle cards. We're going to do the tarot first, and I'm starting with the Wild Unknown tarot deck. We'll do the 3 cards first, and then I'll start kind of interpreting them all together. We've got the 5, 6, 7, 8 of Swords. Okay. We've got the Hermit. Yeah. And the 10 of Swords. Wow. Okay. So you might have been going through some difficult things recently, you know, but with this Hermit card coming in, especially with the little light going on there, connecting in with this Algiers rune, I think that you're about to break through some things. I think that if you've been through some difficult periods with this 10 of Sword, you know, energy, it can kind of be this like major defeat kind of a card, you know. It's sort of like really broken feeling. You know, and the swords are all about the mind and the mental body, so it's all about your mind. A lot of times these are things that are in your mind, how you're feeling, you know, what you're thinking about yourself and your life and your situation kind of up here. You know, the Ten of Swords is kind of this super dramatic card sometimes, so it's never quite as dire as it looks, but things feel dire, you know. They feel like, or they have felt like you've been through this period of real difficulty, I'm seeing, you know, and pain, and it's hard to be in that, you know. But I think that's put you in a position of going it alone, and through doing that, by going off on your own instead of trying to connect in with other people, right, you're actually going to be able to connect into your own center here, is kind of what I'm seeing, and really connect into your own inner light and your own, honestly, you don't have to be spiritual, but I'm kind of getting that vibe from this, your own sense of spirituality, and that can help you out of this dark period you may have been in. And we have the Eight of Swords, which traditionally is depicted as a woman who's blindfolded and tied up, and it tends to refer to this idea that you have the conditions within yourself to get out of whatever's binding you, and that it's sort of like you've kind of put yourself into the blindfold a lot of times, because she's only very loosely bound, and like her blindfold's actually falling off. So she could just kind of like move her arms a little bit and have the ropes fall off, and then kind of just pull it off and walk away. So it's kind of like this idea that you're being encouraged to, that you have all the tools at your disposal to move out of whatever, you know, difficult period you might be in, and whatever things are making you feel bound up and tied up, you can actually let those things go and walk away from those things if you so choose to do so. But this deck kind of gives it a whole new dimension, because it's not exactly being bound, it's a butterfly in a chrysalis. So it's like you're actually in this bound period in order to gain growth, right? It's for your own personal growth, it's for your spiritual growth, it's for your own inner being and your own inner development. And I get that more too with this Hermit card as well. It's like the Hermit goes off on his own, and a lot of times it's by choice, you know. He goes off alone in order to gain these insights, in order to gain a better understanding of himself, in order to like tune back into his heart center and his heart space and figure out who he is and what he wants, you know, and connecting into his own inner light and his own sense of spirituality, right? Like you have the ability to do that here, and you don't have to keep choosing these situations that are bringing you into this darkness, right? You can let go of this darkness, and it's going to come from going within and finding answers within, and you're being encouraged to then blossom and transform into this beautiful butterfly, that you have this beautiful butterfly option available to you to transform your entire being, your entire energy, and really kind of dive out of that, you know, and into something brand new for yourself. Let's keep going here. We've got 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. First up, we've got the Moon. The Moon energy is all about things unseen sometimes, that maybe there are some things going on in your situation that you don't quite understand. There are some situations present in your life that you don't quite know what's happening. You don't know the answers. You don't know all the answers. You don't know everything that's going on. And so, you know, you're kind of being encouraged to maybe take a step back and sort of be open to allowing things to unfold whatever way they need to. You know, sometimes it can be that when the moon illuminates your path at night, you can't see everything. You can still see a bit of a pathway forward because the moon is bright enough for you to see in front of your feet without falling down, but you don't have all of the answers ahead for you. You don't have all of the options available to you. So you're just kind of moving along, and it's kind of encouraging you to have faith. And a lot of times too, the moon can talk about your intuition and connecting into your intuition. And with this Algis rune here, and with the Hermit, you know, giving that little lantern there, I really feel like this week is all about tuning into your intuition again, and kind of like allowing yourself to leave behind some of this negative energy that might be present within you, some of this darkness, really kind of hone into your own inner being and your own inner light here, your own intuition. And by doing so, by really connecting to your intuition, you're going to open up some answers within you, some insights, some things that are going to help you do this transformation more and leave behind whatever's binding you, right? And remember, you've got the North Star really guiding your light forward as you move forward. Next up, we have the Two of Pentacles, which talks about balance. So it's being in a state of balance, allowing yourself to really balance the forces around you, and make sure that you are getting enough rest. Make sure that you are taking action when you need to. Make sure you're not when you don't need to, that sort of thing. Make sure you've got a clean space around you, that you are, picking up after yourself. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. Make sure, all of these kinds of things. It's sort of like really encouraging you to find balance within your life, because the Two of Pentacles tends to be about this, juggling forces. And in the Rider Waite Smith deck, it's about it's a man who's juggling the Two Pentacles, and they kind of form the infinity symbol above his head, and we've got the infinity symbol here as well. So it's just sort of like letting you know that balance is really being asked for in this situation. The final from the 1JJ Swiss deck is the Jupiter card, which is the Hierophant. So with the Hierophant here too, it's sort of like, what are you continuing in your life because you feel you need to? What about these dark places you're in, or you've been to, has been societal conditioning versus what's actually what you want for yourself? You're kind of being encouraged to look in, with this intuition kind of thing. It's like, you don't have to keep doing stuff just because you think you need to, because of a lot of things, just how you've grown up, how the world has taught you how to move through the world, how to think and how to move and how to act. You don't have to keep falling back on that conditioning. You can actually learn to let that go and make decisions for yourself, make decisions from your own heart center. This reminded me of pile number 1. So if that resonated with you at all, you could check that one out too, because that's, had the Hierophant a lot. So potentially that's kind of what's going on here. I'm looking at this eagle here too, that's present in this card, and the eagle, eagle symbolism is all about this idea that, it's like opening your perspective to the higher perspective. So it's like learning how to fly high above a situation, fly way up into the sky, and then see everything as little tiny dots, right? So it's like not getting stuck in the small details of what's going on around you, and learning how to see things from the big perspective, big picture, the much larger perspective that's available to you. You're really kind of being encouraged to remember that you have that option there, to see things from a larger perspective, to open your heart and your mind to something different, something else, that you have that ability. Final 3 cards come from the Rider Waite Smith deck. Oh, you actually got 4 from the Rider Waite Smith deck. So let's just take them all out and then I'll talk about them. You've got the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands. Wow, cool. New beginnings coming in for you for sure. The Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, nice. This is beautiful. Pile number 2. And then the Hanged Man. Yeah, the Hanged Man. Of course, that's here. All right. So, with the Hanged Man, that's tying back into this chrysalis image from this 8 of Swords. It's very similar energy, right? That you're tied up, upside down here, but it's coming for a spiritual insight, right? It's coming for an awakening. You're gaining insight from this. So remember, if you feel blocked right now, if you feel stuck, if you've removed yourself from a situation and you feel kind of lonely or alone, or any of that kind of energy going on here, you're just being encouraged to remember that, you've got this like deep spiritual tool available to you, right? It's like this is a tool for you to learn how to see things from a new perspective. This is your ability to open up into a new mode of thinking, and it's just coming from holding yourself back a little bit so that you can have that insight come into you, right? It's giving yourself the space and the time in order to have these kinds of insights, and not be so stuck in a certain mode or thinking or any of that. You know, you've got the Queen of Pentacles here, which tells me that you've got some abundance coming to you, you know? And she's very abundant in a way where she like is very sharing and kind and nurturing with it. So she's like, you know, encouraging you to nurture yourself, you know, give back to yourself, make sure that you are in a flow of abundance, you know, allow people to help you and be available to help others, be kind of open to that, you know. And with these two aces here, it's really talking about a new start, a new beginning. And this new beginning is coming in two places. It's coming by following your passions and your drives. So maybe by taking this time out for a minute, you know, you're going to start to reawaken your passions and your drives, and that might lead you towards this abundance energy, you know, by unbridledly or, you know, just like deeply following your own passionate drive to make things happen. You have the ability to unlock within you this like new mode of being. And it's going to come from a new beginning in your mind as well. The swords are all about the mental body and the mental sphere, so it's all about the mind and the mind energy. So this new beginning is going to come with this new way of viewing the world around you, of you know, thinking in a new way. Your thoughts themselves are going to go in a new way, and that's what's going to help take you out of this sort of like dark, stuck energy, dark, stuck period you might be in, and kind of jumpstart you, move you into a new mode of being, a new way of thinking, a new way of flowing through the world. Next up, you have a couple cards here. First up, we have from the Fairytale Lenormand, which I'm just reading for the symbols on the cards. You got the key. Okay. So yeah, you're unlocking a new way of operating. You know, it's a new way of thinking, passing through the veil. You know, I've got this kind of veil vibes on this as well. So it's sort of like this idea that, you know, you don't have to conform to things the way that they've been. You can move into something new. You can have a new mode of thinking. You can have a new mode of being, a new mode of living through the world. This is a master number 2, master number 33. So feel free to look up 33. That might be applicable to you. Kind of reminds me of an angel number 2. So, you know, maybe you've got guides, you've got help on the other side. It's coming through symbols. So just be open to symbols coming to you. You know, 2-2 as well. I know it's 2, but the 2s, the way that they look there is kind of overlapping one another. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of your main reading. That's mostly what I'm getting. You've got this new beginning coming in, so just be open to it. Be open to a new way of being, because you've got this newness really flowing into your life, and it's going to come from you really honing in on your heart space, honing in on your intuition, and following your intuition moving forward no matter what. Let's read. I've got 2 cards from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, and I'm going to read directly from the book because I like giving you somebody else's words. I find it helpful to hear multiple perspectives in these kinds of readings. So we've got Reunion of Souls. It's a beautiful card. So let me read from the book from this one. There is a school of thought that says before our souls come to earth, we make contracts or agreements with other souls. At one point in time, we appear in each other's lives to assist those involved in learning a lesson, being a catalyst for a needed change, or to share in profound joy. When a person comes into our life to teach us a lesson, no matter the human form, no matter the human experience, this agreement is based in love. The human experience may have been painful and extremely challenging. Acknowledge the depth of love needed for this contract to take place, and then let them go. The experience may have been profoundly moving, but ended abruptly and without reason. Again, be grateful and move on. Cherish the lessons and move forward into your life the way it was meant to be. Alternatively, this card signifies a profound soulmate relationship, whether it be between lovers, friends, or parents and children. Cherish the gift given. Wow, that's powerful. So I think maybe you've lost somebody, or you've had some difficulty in relationships, or you've had some hardships with other people involved, and now you feel alone, like you had to leave that situation behind with that Hermit card, and you might be feeling kind of stuck with that, But, if that's the case, like this card was saying with that Reunion of Souls, like, you have the ability to let that go, you know, that everyone that's been in our lives has something to teach us if we allow ourselves to see it. Every difficult situation that's come through our lives has the potential to teach us, you know, they're lessons that we can learn from these situations, with others and with ourselves. And these lessons can give us profound insight into many things, you know, and sometimes the hardest lessons that we have to learn are the ones that propel us into spirituality. The most difficult lessons that we go through are the ones that open our hearts and our minds to the possibilities of something else, you know, of the new way of thinking. And sometimes it has to come from going through the most difficult situations imaginable. So if you've been through something really hard, I just want you to know that, you know, I understand what that's like, and you know, I'm here if you ever need to reach out, you know, and I have a lot of empathy for you and that type of thing, because I've been through some real darkness in this life, and some really challenging periods. So I do know what that feels like, you know, and so, yeah, you know, you're not alone. I just want you to know you're not alone. You're never alone in these kinds of situations. And, you know, I was talking a little bit about connecting with guides too, you know, and you have these birds here. Birds to me always kind of remind me of that kind of symbol of like, you know, connecting you into your spirit team and your guides, and we all have one. So you have that available if you learn how to see it. Connecting in with your intuition in this North Star perspective, you know, it's like your own little Jiminy Cricket. You got your own little Jiminy Cricket team out there. So remember that. The final card you have is the New Day. Yeah, so you're moving into something new, right? You are now ready to move into a new period, and it's going to be leaving behind some of this darkness. And I know that's not, it's hard, you know, being through that's hard. You know, you might be at the very end of this cycle. Maybe you already went through most of this, you know, and this is the final little bit, you know, it's all kind of coming to a conclusion, and you're at the new point. The new point's here. You've taken it. You're already going in it, but you're kind of, now you're in the letting go, right? You're letting go of the remainder. Let me read the New Day, because it's a nice one. Really friendly card. A new day enables us to see in a brand new light. We can see more clearly once the shadows of fear and doubt are brushed away by the light of creation. Once the initial shock of discovering the duality in a situation has worn off, you can find comfort in that there is no bad or good. It just is. When this is realized, the possibilities for the outcome of a situation become endless. This card also advises to wait. Everything regarding the situation has yet to unfold. So there you go. You got a new day unfolding for you. Be open to it. Be open to whatever comes next. You know, be open to change. Be open to allowing brightness into your life, and allow it to come in however it needs to for you. You know, allow yourself to love yourself. Give yourself comfort. If you've been through difficult things, comfort yourself, you know, be there for yourself, because you can really help you out, you know. Anyway, pile number 2, that was my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Let me know in the comments either way. I love hearing from all of you. If you ever want a private reading with me, I have a couple available on my website, so feel free to check that out at www.junodrome.com. And then finally, I've launched a Patreon, so I would love if you could check that out. It's a great way for you to help support me and get some really awesome bonus content you can't get anywhere else. That's available at www.patreon.com/junodrome. And then, yeah, finally, just a big thanks to all of my new subscribers and all of my subscribers who've been holding out for a while. I'm really excited to watch this channel grow and continue this with you. I am pretty excited to announce as well, it's a little bit of ways, but I'm going to be giving a giveaway of my services. So you'll get a free reading with me of your choice. Either reading, we can do a face-to-face chat reading, or we can do the pre-recorded video reading. I can even change things up and give you a full 1 hour video recorded reading if you like that format. That'll be available for you for whoever, yeah, there'll be a drawing for it and stuff. But that's when I reach 500 subscribers. So right now as of recording this, I was at 351. So we got a little bit of a ways, but it's been growing pretty fast. So it's gonna come in before you know it. And if you'd like it to come in faster, please feel free to share this channel with your friends or with anybody you think who it would resonate with, and encourage them to subscribe. And if you just watch my videos and you haven't subscribed, I understand, like, sometimes it's difficult to have YouTube accounts and things can get confusing, but I do encourage you to subscribe. So yeah, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Pile number 2. Catch you later. Hey there, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is your weekly recap, or weekly check-in. So this is going to be what energies are coming in this week, what do you need to know, what's coming in for you and your life and your situation, and how can I help give you some further insights on how to move forward this week and kind of like where things are at. So it's a pretty in-depth reading. I've got a bunch of different tarot cards and a couple of oracle cards, and I've got this nice rune stone here. So we'll dive in real quick here and start with the rune. You got the Jera rune, really nice one. This one, it's like the harvest rune. It talks about harvest, but it's also kind of about time, and the entire harvest cycle, right? So when you harvest food, right, present within that food is not just the harvest season and the food itself. Like, the entire harvest has contained within it the entire harvest cycle. So it's also the planting of those. It's also the leaving the field fallow, or empty. You know, it's like this rune kind of talks about the presence of all of those things within it. It reminds me very much of a yin and yang symbol. It's a balance of forces, and it talks about cycles. You know, that the winter and the summer are both present within this rune, right? It's like the reason why harvest is so special and important is because there are seasons that are opposing it, that exist, that are barren. You know, that there's winter where nothing is growing, and you know, we don't have any food, but the food that we have has come, I mean, traditionally, right? Obviously now with modern supermarkets and global food industry, obviously, like, food is grown and comes to us all the time. You just have to go to a supermarket. But in the old days, when things were harvested, you know, you didn't have anything but what you had harvested that season in the winter. And so harvest was incredibly important, because that wasn't just food for right now, that was food for the entire winter. You know, food when you couldn't grow or harvest anything. You couldn't even really go out and harvest food in the berries if it's a harsh winter, you know, if you're in a location with harsh winter. So it's like harvest season was incredibly important. And because of that, you know, you still maintain a piece of harvest deep in the dead of winter, because you have your food still, you know, you have the supplies that you saved or that you canned or whatever, you know. So it's like you have present within the winter a little bit of harvest with you. So it's kind of talks about that whole cycle, you know, that you have all of that cycle within. And then also too, if you know, if you're trying to make something happen, if you're trying to manifest something, right? Sometimes it talks about how it's going to take some time, you know, that you have to put in the work. You know, you gotta go through that whole farming season in order to harvest, and that's okay. That present within the work is the harvest itself, and present within the harvest was all the work you put in. So it's kind of encouraging you, if you want to make something happen, you know, put in the work. And that's okay, that you can do it. Like, when you put in the work, you can achieve anything. It's just a matter of doing it. So let's dive into the tarot cards and kind of see a little bit further about what we're talking about here. I've got 3 different decks. We're going to start out with 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. So you've got the, ooh, yeah! Oh my gosh. 10 of Pentacles. That's beautiful. It's abundance. Talk about harvest, right? So you've got ultimate abundance coming to you. I don't know if you were questioning about that, but it's here for you. We've got the 6 of Cups, okay? With this like beautiful grounding energy is really what I'm seeing here. That's wonderful. And then we've got the Five of Wands. Yeah, okay, interesting. So, you know, I think you're kind of in a struggle right now. I see this little bit of struggle going on with the Five of Wands. That card talks about struggle. It's like kind of being at a stalemate. It's five people in the Rider Waite Smith deck. It's five people who are like all kind of battling it out, you know. So it's just like talks about being in a stuck place, you know, being kind of stuck in a stalemate. But you know, you don't necessarily have to keep that going, right? But you can break out of it. That's temporary. I feel that temporary, you know, with this Jera. Remember, it's a whole season, so that may be where you are at the moment, but remember where you're going, right? You're going to this ultimate abundance. That's the outcome. That's what you're trying to build here. I got that sense of manifestation when I was talking about the Jera rune earlier, and I feel like this is what you're trying to manifest here, is this ultimate abundance, right? So it's all about how you're going to get out of feeling stuck, feeling at a stalemate, and move into this abundant period that's coming. It's open to you. It's here. It's coming through this grounding. You know, you're really being encouraged to ground your energy. And the Six of Cups doesn't always mean grounding. It in the other decks, it kind of refers to like this happy memories from the past, but I don't feel that at all from this cup. So I'm just going to read it from the card itself. You've got this like, right, so see the tree here. See how in this tree, it goes down into the earth the exact same distance as it goes up into the air. So as you're trying to build yourself up, as you're trying to make something happen and go outside of yourself to try to manifest things and go out, up into the air to make things happen, you also have to go down within, right? You have to go down within yourself and into the ground, ground your energy into the ground, practice meditation regularly. I think that's really going to help you. And by doing that, by really grounding your energy, coming back into yourself, actually practicing meditating, taking deep breaths, slowing your roll. Slow your roll, friend. Slowing down, slowing everything down, moving back into that sort of energy for yourself, right? By doing that, you're gonna be able to unlock this abundant period. And this is a long-term goal, right? I feel that this is a long-term situation. With that Jera here, it can talk about a year, you know? So ultimate abundance may still be a year away, but if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to put in the energy to make it happen, if you're willing to do that work, it will happen for you. It will happen. It wants to happen. It can happen. Remember, a year might sometimes sound like a long time, but think about a year ago, right? Like, how many times have you, like, you know, looked at your phone, right? If you're on Facebook at all, right, it has that memories feature and it just shows you what happened a year ago, or on Instagram does that too, or wherever, you know, where you see something from a year ago and you're like, wow, I can't believe that was an entire year ago. It feels like it was just yesterday. And then sometimes it could be like, wow, that felt like an eternity ago, you know? So time has a weird way of being like that, where it's like, it's not always as long as you think it's going to be, and it's not always as short as you think it's going to be either. But I get this sense of just reminding yourself that even if it's going to take you an entire year to build this ultimate abundance, so what? A year from now, you're going to be in ultimate abundance, right? Which is amazing. So like, if you got to work hard, you know, if it's going to take a lot of work in order to get there, if you got to do some things maybe you don't necessarily want to do in order to unlock it for yourself, like, so be it. That's okay. You know, it's okay, because it's coming. So ground your energy, meditate. It's important. There's many meditation resources out there, so feel free to look them up. The internet's rife with so many techniques and ideas, and it's great. Next up, we have 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck. We've got the Seven of Pentacles. We've got the Hermit card. Okay, yeah. And we have the 2 of Wands. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so you're still kind of in this planning phase, right? You're figuring out how to make it all happen. And you're taking action, right? The 2 of Wands can talk about like okay, this is what I'm imagining for myself. It's a man who's holding a globe and looking out at the world in many decks. And so it's sort of like you're ready to go off and maybe travel, but travel within especially, to figure out how to line up your life. And it might mean going off alone for a bit, you know, going off and trying to make things happen on your own. But by doing that, you have a lot of opportunity available to you, you know, like you can really go and work things out and make things happen so that you open up these possibilities for yourself. And, you know, you got to be okay doing the work. That's what the Seven of Pentacles talks about. It's all about putting in the work. So it's exactly what I was saying, right? You know, it might take a lot of work in order to get to this abundance, right? And it might take time and energy and effort. It's going to. I mean, abundance requires that of you. But that doesn't mean that it's not possible for it to happen, right? And it doesn't mean you can't attract it to you. The law of attraction can allow this to flow into your life, but you know, you have to take the actions too in order for it to happen. So you're really being encouraged to put in the work, go off alone for a bit and work your butt off, you know, and make things happen. You have the ability to do that, and really bring this abundance energy into you. You know, if you have a project or a thing that this is surrounding, you know, I think I'm kind of getting that energy that maybe you're trying to start a business, or you're, you know, you're looking for a new job, you're trying to get a new career. Regardless, I feel like this is coming for you. With the Jera rune, like I said, it can talk about a whole year cycle, or just a cycle, you know, needs to occur in order for it to come in. But if you are willing to be patient and put in the work patiently, you know, you're being encouraged to have patience, which I know nobody ever wants to hear, but by doing that, by being patient, by putting in the work, by grounding your energy, by really like leaving behind the struggle. You don't have to always struggle, you know, letting go of the mentality that everything is always going to be a struggle, or that work is going to be a struggle. This doesn't necessarily mean that the work itself is going to be hard or a struggle. It just means it's going to take time, it's going to take energy, and it's going to take work. So if you're willing to put in that work and that time and that effort, you're going to be rewarded. And harvest season for you is going to be incredible, you know? So we've got 3 cards from the Rider Waite Smith deck. So let's check those out. You've got the 8 of Pentacles. Yeah, putting in the work, friend. Look at that. And receiving the outcome, right? That's beautiful. We got the 2 of Wands again. Wow. Yeah. Whenever a card comes up twice, that's the message to take away from the entire reading. So we've got the 2 of Wands double. That's cool. And then the final Rider Waite Smith card is the 5 of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the 5 of Pentacles talks about a dark night of the soul kind of a period. So I don't feel that from this reading anywhere, except to say that maybe that's something you've been in the past. So I don't think that that's where you are now necessarily, and I don't think that's where you're going for sure, but I think that maybe you've been there, and so you've got kind of the past sort of hanging on you a little bit of like, oh, you know, this is what's happened to me in the past in difficult situations, and I don't know if I want to go back into that. You know, you don't have to go back into that. Like I said, you can let go of the struggle energy and move into a new mode of being, because a new mode of being is really being opened up for you in this reading. And it's going to come from you, you know, figuring out where to go next, you know, opening up your sights and your visions to the infinite possibility. And like I said, you know, it might take a little bit of time to build, but if you are willing to put in the work, right, you have this amazing, incredible opportunity that's going to open itself up to you over time. So that, you know, if, like I said, if you're trying to build your own business, right, now I'm just applying it to my own life, so whatever, but here we go. You know, this is just an example. If you're trying to build a business, right, and be self-sufficient, and to have that business be your only income and really make a lot of money for you, you know, it's not going to happen overnight. And if you're doing it right, it shouldn't happen overnight, right? Because you got to build everything out. You got to build the infrastructure. You got to make sure you're putting in the work, right? Putting in this work. So you might have to take on an extra job while you're building it, right? And that might take up all of your time. You'll be working all the time, and, you know, you might be a little bit like, ooh, I don't know. There were periods of my life where I was working all the time, and I don't think that went very well for me, you know, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that again. But it doesn't have to be what it was before if you're doing that, if that's happening, if that's even applicable to your life. You know, apply it to your life situation. That was just a metaphor from my own life. You know what I mean? But like, it's true. In reality, what's on your vision board? What are you manifesting? You know, because your thoughts are very powerful. If you are practicing the law of attraction, which we all are just by existing, you know, our thoughts help create our reality. So, and obviously, like, there's a lot going on outside of us as well. And it's not something that you can just let off, right? We as a collective are also collectively manifesting things. And so, you know, sometimes the collective brings things into reality that we don't really want to deal with, you know what I mean? But like, you have the ability to create your own little bubble in that. That's your own sense of peace, you know? And so it's sort of like, well, what do you want to manifest for yourself? What do you want to make happen? You can make it happen. You've got ultimate abundance coming to you. You know, it seems like you've got the right idea. If you had an idea for a business or a career or a job, or, you know, I'm feeling very career-like in this. This is all about making money, I feel like, or bringing in stability, you know. You know, maybe you wanted to join one of those crazy communes that, not crazy, you know, but one of those communes where it's like, you go and you work, and if you put in the work there at the commune, you just get your meals provided for you and you never have to worry about money ever again, right? They make stuff and sell it and then distribute the resources within the community, within each other, right? I don't know if that's who you are, but I'm saying it doesn't have to just be about money here, you know what I mean? Like, but it's about like some kind of like work situation going on for you, you know? You have the right idea. Clearly you have an idea and you're working on it. And you've been working on it probably for a while, and now you're like, oh man, do I have to do a whole more year of this? Well, you know, remember, if it's meant for you, if it's something that's good for you, you know, if it's aligned with your passions and it's aligned with your heart, then even putting in the work, it'll be worth it. It'll feel worth it, you know. And if it doesn't feel worth it, then that might be a message for you as well, you know. But if you're willing to put in the work here, you're going to be successful. You have this outcome coming. It's just a matter of time. So it's like, you know, being patient with it, being patient with yourself, allowing it to open itself over time, allowing for things to happen over time, and being okay with that. When you do that for yourself, you really open a lot of possibilities, and you know, it's beautiful. So anyway, let's keep going. I've got a couple of oracle cards, and then we'll be done with your reading. So we've got from the Fairytale Lenormand, you got the anchor. Yeah, so remember that grounding energy I was talking about before? The anchor is also about grounding. So I'm really tying into this idea that, you know, meditation could really help you out a lot in this situation. It'll help you leave sort of any kind of struggles going on in your mind. I think the struggle's just in your mind still, right? I think that dark night of the soul period was something you went through in the past, and you're out of it and you're afraid of going back into it. And so because of that fear of, oh my God, is this going to happen again? You know, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I can do this. But remember, you're in a whole new situation now. You know, the past is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. The only way that the past continues is if you bring the past into your life. If you don't bring the past back into your life and you let that go, then, you know, you have open possibilities here. And remember, like, if you have to take on a second thing or do a second job or do something else to supplement your income, you know, remember what the long-term goal is. You know, if you have this very clear vision of where you're going and moving in your mind, in your mind's eye, in your life, then taking on something on the side is fine. You know, it's fine. If you have to, do it. If that's applicable to your situation. I know this is a general reading, so, you know, these readings tend to be about me, but by doing that, they actually resonate with everyone. So I hope I wasn't too specific about me and my life in the situation, but I need that message for me too. So I don't know. Hopefully it resonates with you. Anyway, we're gonna keep going here with the Shamanic Healing Oracle. I'm gonna read directly from the book for these as well, because it's really helpful, I think, to hear somebody else's perspective too. First up, we have home. Yeah, you're always at home inside of yourself. If you carry the spirit of home with you everywhere you go, then you are always home. Let me read the home card. That's nice. Nice little homecoming. This card represents a homecoming of the soul, of finding your tribe, of coming home. The situation you are inquiring about has the potential to be a homecoming, a safe and secure place that both nourishes and facilitates your growth, whether it be a school, a relationship, a job, or truly a home. Go for it. All paths lead home. Home doesn't have to be where you grew up. Family doesn't always mean the people of your birth family. Look at the expanded meaning. Family are people who share the same core values and path. Home can mean a place you have yet to visit or experience, but once there, it feeds your soul in a way that gives you no doubt that you are home. Alternatively, find a safe place. This is where the answers you seek will be found. Yeah, so that's beautiful. Home. You got home available to you, friend. By tapping back into this, and remember to come home to yourself, that's what this is doing. You're building this for yourself. Remember that. Next up we have emotional release. Okay, cool. I'll read that. Yeah, I think that's connecting in with this 5 of Swords and this 5 of Pentacles, or sorry, 5 of Wands, 5 of Pentacles energy of letting yourself release your emotions. It's important to feel your emotions and then let them go, instead of bottling them up. Then they can get stuck. We all want to be strong. As humans, we value strength and independence. But also as humans, we need the support of our family, our friends, our tribe. Trying so hard to be strong, pushing down emotions such as fear, anger, betrayal, sadness, only forces them to grow and become stronger. The bubbling up and release that eventually comes takes everyone involved by surprise, and sometimes does harm in terms of hurt feelings and words that cannot be taken back. Get into the practice of voicing your feelings, even if it's just acknowledging them to yourself. Journal, create, dance. Find a way that you can safely feel your most feared emotions, feel them, and then let them go. This is a potentially deep healing for you. So there you go. Feel your emotions. It's important, friends. Anyway, pile number 3, I think that's where I'm going to call it. That was your reading. I hope that it resonates. Please let me know in the comments what you think of it either way. I really love hearing from all of you. If you ever want a more detailed private reading with me, I can get very, very specific about you and your life and your situation. So please feel free to check out my website at www.junodrome.com. And I've got all of my options on there. A new way for you to help support me is on my Patreon page. So please feel free to check that out at www.patreon.com/junodrome. I've got a bunch of awesome bonus content there that you can't get anywhere else. And then finally, I'd just like to deeply thank all of my new subscribers and all of my subscribers who've joined me for a while now. I'm so thankful to have you, and I'm really excited to keep this channel growing. I'm announcing that when I reach 500 subscribers, I'm a little far away, and not too far, but a little bit. I'm at 351 as of recording this, but it's going to continue to grow. So when we hit 500 for the channel, I'm going to be giving away a free private reading. So I'll tell you more about it as it gets closer, but it'll be a free reading from my channel, either a pre-recorded video one or a face-to-face chat, whichever you prefer. So I'm going to leave it up to you, whoever wins that. So there'll be an official way to enter that drawing when we hit 500. That's a bit of a ways away, but anyway, pile number 3, thank you so much. If you want that drawing to come sooner, feel free to share this channel with your friends and let people know, and subscribe. Anyway, yeah, so pile number 3, that was my reading for you. I hope that it resonates. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think either way, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful week. Catch you later. Hey there, pile number 4. Welcome to your reading. This is your reading for your weekly check-in. What's going on this week? What are the energies coming in? What to expect? How to move through this week with grace and love, and kind of like what's coming in your life here. So first up, we've got the rune stone. You've got the Laguz rune, which is flow. So going with the flow is going to be super important for you this week. And then, this kind of gives me an extra dimension to this rune that I kind of give it, is that, it's a fish hook, right? So it's it's this idea that like you have the tools at your disposal to allow yourself to go with the flow. And it's about connecting into what those tools are and how to open up your life and your situation for that. So we'll dive into the cards now. And I've got 3 different tarot decks and then a bunch of oracle cards. So we'll dive in and get some answers here and get some super in-depth understanding. First up, we have 3 cards from the Wild Unknown Tarot. First card we've got is the Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, new movement towards abundance and the material world. Ooh, oh, cool. You got the 9 of Pentacles, more abundant energy. That's beautiful. I love it. And then you've got the 2 of Pentacles. So many Pentacles energy. Wow, that's cool, friend. Okay, so let's just tune into this energies here. Balance is going to be really important for you this week. Remember, I was saying go with the flow. So as forces come in for you, tuning back into your own sense of inner balance is really going to just like help solidify your life and what's happening for you, and kind of put you back in an energy of calm, of knowing what's going on, you know. Be sure to rest when you need it, act when you need it, you know, those kinds of things, knowing the right balance in life. But you've got this kind of super abundance energy coming in for you, which is beautiful. The 9 of Pentacles is like, in the Rider Waite Smith deck, it's a woman who's in her own private garden, kind of basking in the finer things of life. So you've got this sort of like being good on your own kind of feeling to it, you know, like you got this life thing, you've got your own situation under control, you're like super ready for whatever life throws at you, and you know, you're basking in your own sense of you know, and calmness, and things are kind of figured out, which is great. And it's leading to this new beginning towards abundance. You know, maybe you're moving towards this energy, but the aces are all about new starts, new beginnings, and the pentacles are all about the material world. It's not just money, it's also like health, a great place to live, you know, all this kinds of stuff. You know, you're opening yourself up to this like beautiful sense of abundance, and it's a new beginning in that. So maybe you're changing things up. Maybe you've got some new conditions coming in, or you starting a new job or something, you know, something like that. I've got 3 cards from the 1JJ Swiss deck, so let's see what those are. You've got the Death card. Oh yeah, okay, so some transformation is happening here for sure. This new beginning is coming from a transformation of your own consciousness, which is cool. New way of thinking, new way of perceiving the world. You've got the Queen of Swords. Yeah, okay, so more thoughts. The swords are all about the mental body and the mental sphere. The Queen of Swords is very calm and collected. Kind of has things figured out from an analytical point of view. And then you've got the 10 of Pentacles. Wow, oh my gosh, so much abundance. That's ultimate abundance. Ultimate abundance. So you are making a change this week in your life that's going to be reverberating out to come, you know? You're following this sense of abundance, and it's beautiful, and you're allowing it to flow into your life. And by doing so, you know, you're opening yourself up to a lot of possibilities. You know, remember to be in balance. You know, if you're working hard on something, you know, remember to take breaks when you need it, to rest when you need it. But ultimately, you've got this super life transformation that's coming in for you this week, and opening you up into a whole new mode of being, a whole new way of operating in the world, and a new way of perceiving too. With the Queen of Swords here, you can talk about being thoughts, a new way of seeing things. You know, she's very calm and collected. So coming back into your center, you know, not letting your emotions get the best of you, and you know, calming your emotions, and then acting from a sense of analytical point of view. Really beautiful cards. Finally, you have 3 cards from the Rider Waite Smith deck. You've got the 10 of Pentacles again. Friend, you are very abundant this week. You have got everything taken care of. You've got money flowing in. I mean, I think you actually have money flowing in. Like, it's not just about money, but this is beautiful. Whenever a card comes up twice, that's the most important message from the entire pile. Is like, and that's ultimate abundance. You have ultimate abundance, and then you have the almost ultimate abundance with the 9 of Pentacles. So, like, 2 10s and 1 9 of Pentacles, like, and the Ace of Pentacles, saying it's a new start in this. Like, this is just the beginning. And with the Death here, it's like, no, you're transforming everything and moving into it. Incredible, incredible, friend. Just make sure you go with the flow there with that Logos. You've got the, okay, 7 of Cups, which talks about choices, having options. Sometimes it's being indecisive, but I think it for you is you got options. You got options here. This abundance is coming to you, and you've got many avenues for which to allow it to enter your life. That's beautiful. And then you've got the 9 of Wands. Okay, yeah. So I think you've been through some tough stuff. You know, you've been through it. You've battled your way through stuff before, and so, you know, with this 9 of Wands here, it's really letting you know that, you know, you've been through it. You're a battle-hardened soldier. That's kind of how I always read this card. And so it's like you've been through a lot, but because of that, that's made you stronger. You've made you resilient. It's made you able to go through anything. And because of that, you know, because you can go through anything, now you're unlocking this abundance energy. It's sort of like, I guess it's sort of this thing where, you know, you were in a situation before where you're like, well, I've been through everything, right? I've been through hell and back. I've been to some dark places. I've been through some battles. So I know that I can work through anything now. And because I have that knowledge that I can work through anything, I can work hard on anything, I can make anything happen, you're opening up this flowing towards abundance for you, because you're like, well, I can make anything happen. So I'm willing to put in the work, whatever it takes, whatever I have to do, whatever steps I got to do, whatever action I need to take, I will take it. I will make it happen. And so because you have that attitude, it's allowing you to transform your entire life now, where you can make anything happen for yourself now, like literally anything. Whatever you want to make happen, whatever you imagine, if you want something in this lifetime, you will have it, because you're willing to put in the work. You're willing to put in the patience. You're willing to just keep chipping away again and again and again and again. And it might be painful sometimes. It might be hard. It might not be the easiest thing, but you will never give up. That is what I'm seeing with this 9 of Wands. Is like, you're never going to give up. So, you know, you got options now, right? It's like, okay, well, you're never going to give up. So what do you want? You can have any of these. Any of these cups here that you want, you can have any of them. So you have choices. You can choose whichever one you want. You want to go with the dragon? Go with the dragon. Try to find the dragon. Try to make that happen. You know, you want this weird spiritual ghost person? Like, you want those powers of being blindfolded and lighting up pink? You can make that happen. I don't know how to make that happen. You do. Go for it. Find it. Figure it out. You know, you got so many options. And it's just like, it's coming in with this abundance. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. And like I said, with the Death card here, the Death is a radical transformation of your inner landscape. So you're ready to let go of anything that's happened in the past. You're ready to let go of any difficulties. You're ready to let go of any situations that weren't working for you, aren't working for you. And you're gonna give yourself a new way to live, you know, a new way to see. And it's a major, major, major transformation moment. And so because of that, because you're willing to change, you know, because you're willing to put in the work, you're transforming, and you're opening yourself up to a brand new beginning with this Ace of Pentacles here. And it's a beginning in this like beautiful abundance, so much abundance. Like, that is mind-blowing. And, you know, let it come in, let it flow, go with the flow. If you need to do something, do it. If you don't want to do something, don't, you know, any of that kind of thing. Just be open to the flow of abundance as it's coming in. Be open to the flow of figuring things out where they need to be, because you have that ability for yourself. Finally, we've got these 2 cards from the Shamanic Healing Oracle. I'm going to read directly from the book for these, just to give us another perspective, somebody else's words. The first you have is unlimited possibilities. Yep, remember when I was talking about that 7 of Cups energy? You can do anything you want. You've got unlimited possibilities. Unlimited. Don't limit yourself. You can do anything. Whatever you want, you can do it. Wherever you want to be, you can be there. Whatever you want, it's up to you. It's up to you. When fall turns into winter, the leaves fall from the trees, birds fly south, plants go dormant. Some even die having lived the life they were meant to. Do we ever panic and wallow in the fear that this is it? That there will never be another robin singing? There will never be another ripe tomato? No, we don't. Why is that? We know that after winter, spring will return, followed by the bounty of summer. It is so in your life. At any given time, there are unlimited possibilities for you and yours, many different paths to take, many different options available. Do not get bogged down into thinking in a linear fashion. Open your eyes and your heart and feel the power your free will and choice brings to you. Make your life what it is meant to be. Yeah, so you can make anything happen. Don't be upset if some things aren't working, you know? You can let them go. And remember, you know, with that 9 of Wands there, you know, you can make anything happen. You can make anything, because you've been through the worst, you know? And so you know, okay, I've been through that. I can go through anything, you know? If I could do that, then I can do anything. That's kind of this mentality. So it's really being open to that, you know? Open to the unlimited possibility of anything happening for you, which is beautiful. Next up, we have from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, you've got Stripping Illusions. Cool, with that lotus flower there, that lotus energy, which is beautiful. Let's read that. The lotus flower is a funny plant. It flourishes in the muck and the mud. Apparently, in spite of the muck of its birth, beautiful petals open up layer after layer, revealing more and more of its inner beauty. You are being called to strip away illusion after illusion from your life. You are being asked to enable your true essence to shine through. Allow layer after layer of false beliefs, cluttered thinking, unfulfilling relationships, chaotic environments to go by the wayside to reveal the perfect essence of your core self. This process is challenging at best. We tend to hold on to the illusions we have created, thinking they keep us safe. All they really do is blind us to our true beauty and potential. This card is calling you to look your truth in the face and not let illusions cloud your view of the true beauty of yourself and others. Yeah, friend, you're beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you different, right? Yeah, you've got this like really beautiful, incredible, amazing period for yourself coming in. It's beautiful. This reading is very wonderful. I mean, it's awe-inspiring. So cherish it, open it, let it come in, let it come to you, because it's here for you. It's here and it's ready, and you just have to flow with it. Go with the flow in this situation. Go with the flow. And be open to the flow of abundance. You know how it's going to come in more than I do, you know, be open to it. You know, if you've been working really hard at it, it's coming. Here it is. It's ready for you. Yeah. Anyway, pile number 4, that was my reading for you. Please let me know in the comments what you think either way. I love to hear from all of you. If you ever want a more detailed personal reading, I can get super, super in-depth to you and your situation and whatever's going on in your life. So please feel free to check out my website at www.junodrome.com. I've got my readings on there. And then finally, I have a new Patreon page where you can help support me even further and get some really, really, really incredible bonus content. So please check that out at www.patreon.com/junodrome. And then, yeah, finally, I'm super excited about all of my new YouTube subscribers. So please, so thank you so much for joining me on this channel officially. And thanks to all of the people who've been with me from the beginning. And then I'm really excited to announce that when I reach 500 subscribers, we're at 351 as of recording this, but it's been going up relatively quickly. So once we hit 500, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for a free reading, a free personal reading. So feel free to subscribe and convince your friends to subscribe, and it'll get here a little bit quicker, and you'll be entered into a chance to win a free reading from me. So anyway, friends, I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you later. See ya.